Hey, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to get up one solo gem using the Freezy Lock build I have up on the channel. The build video that this is from is called This Build's One of a Kind, and I'll link it down below, but the reason why it's called that is because if you go to YouTube and search up Prismatic Warlock Penumbral Blast build, there is one single build video up there. And it's mine. Apparently I've been the only person who actually thought that this was a good enough build to dedicate a little bit of time to. As to why, I couldn't tell you. This build is so much fun. It's also really good. I think of the stuff that I've got up, this is kind of the dark horse of the bunch in that you wouldn't expect it to be good. I mean, I know a lot of people look at it and go, "Ugh, Penumbral Blast? I'm not using that." But it's so good. And also, it's so cool, man. This is such a cool build to use. You're literally shooting a wizard staff, and if you've got Icebreaker as well, for all those frozen enemies, you're igniting all of them as well, so you get like this awesome combo of like, shoot the staff, and it's like, and then Icebreaker, and it's so cool. This and the Incinerator Snap build I have up on the channel, they both use the exact same class item roll, Spirit of Inmost Light and Spirit of Claw, but from that one roll, you get two such cool builds. Whenever I play Warlock, I find myself being really attracted to using this or that Snaplock build. I'll leave the build video down for that as well, but I've done a couple of GMs on it as well. In fact, the GMs that I did have actually been more popular than the build videos for that, but even so, they're both good demonstrations of what's going on in the build, and I promise you, that is the most fun I think I've had on Warlock since playing Destiny 2 ever. It's such an awesome little build. And again, it's one of those things where nobody talks about it, but it's so good. I promise you, if you are looking at this and you're like, wow, I have super spammy melee Warlock build that isn't just Lightning Surge Synthos, this and that, go use them. I promise you they will not waste your time and you will have a load of fun. As for what this is, you've already seen a bit and I already mentioned the class item, but the whole idea is just how much stuff can you freeze with Penumbral, and if you've got Icebreaker, not a need a gun in the build, but definitely one that's got a lot of synergy, it then also turns into how much stuff can I make explode. So it's like freeze them and then explode them. It's so cool. It's awesome. Penumbral Blast, obviously that's where all the freezers coming from. The reason why I like this more than I like something like Osmiomancy Bleak Watcher is because I can play so aggressively with this build. I like playing aggressively. It's much more the playstyle that meshes with me. And don't get me wrong, if you want to sit back with this build, it absolutely can do that. In fact, that's probably the better way to play it. But if you want to play aggressive, it can do it so well. Just stuff that you fight doesn't move, and then... oh, Jesus, that wasn't English. Sorry. As soon as it becomes unfrozen, it's normally because you've just landed an Icebreaker shot between their eyes, and then they're ignited and staggered, and it just... stuff happens. Explosions and freezes and all the things that you would want a cool spammy build to do. Yeah, talking of abilities, the Storm Grenade is here for Amplified. I wouldn't recommend this, but kind of recently they made a change to Amplified that gives it a 15% DR and enemies aren't accurate at shooting you. So it definitely feels impactful now. You've only got that one arc ability, and that's also the reason why I'm using an arc LMG, just because it helps chain those kills. Although we have also got facets of dominance on, so when that Storm Grenade does go down, it's jolting a lot of stuff, which again is arc. It's nice for getting you that 15 seconds of Amplified. Also, Rolling Storm on the LMG. It's really nice. I can literally get one kill with the machine gun, and then pull out my Area Denial Frame Grenade Launcher, and because it is based on how many hits you get, kind of stacking up bolt charge, it hits lots. It's really nice for getting you to the lightning strike quicker, and This build also surprisingly doesn't have amazing Dark Transcendence. This gun, I say this gun, Lost Signal, and maybe even if they make a Strand Aerodynal frame grenade launcher in the future, is really nice. But, you know, I'm trying to go for as much Transcendence as possible. If you wanted to even run something like a kinetic gun here, you absolutely could. You've got quite a lot of flexibility with this build, and yeah, it kind of worlds your oyster as to what you want to use. The boss here, normally, you can kind of stun lock them with Song of Flame. I'll get around to that in a second. But yeah, he was kind of just being annoying and teleporting. Yeah, but yeah, Song makes quick work of him anyway. You'll find it if you use, again, this version of the build that you see here with Icebreaker. But it's so nice to be able to use Song of Flame and then kind of incinerate a snap, and in Song you get 2 with Spirit of Claw. But then also just work in the Icebreaker hipfire shots. You get Radiant, and because it's a solar gun, it then also applies Scorch as well. It's really good, I promise you. It's one of the ways that I actually chunk down the boss later, and I don't take too long in the boss room, but I also mess up a little because I use Song at a point that I kind of got forced to be honest. I was getting pushed by a boss and I was running out of time on the clock for one of the bombs later, so that's why I had to do it. But yeah, you see what I mean when I get there. Abilities for the rest of them. Phoenix Dive, Inmost Light build, short cooldown, kind of just works well. Aspects are Feed the Void, because it's grenade energy and healing, and it's everything young Warlock could want in his life. Healing, grenades, abilities, spam more grenades, more melees and class abilities, yada yada yada. It's got a nice loop with the build. And then Helium as our second aspect. It's just a little dude who just sits on your shoulder and blinks away. They get you some Scorch sometimes and Ignitions, and he's also an ability so he can proc Devour for you. He's just kind of a cool little guy. Look at him. He's just floating around, does some stuff. Bit of company in your solo runs there. Just sit there and give you a hand. And he's adorable as well. Look at him. Oh. For fragments, I'm going to list them off whilst I've got them in my mind. Facet of Dawn, Facet of Purpose, Facet of Protection, Facet of Hope, and Facet of... oh no, Dawn, Hope, Purpose. Oh, it's going to really annoy me actually. Damn, okay, I'll think of the fourth. Dawn, Radiant, well, kind of Facet of Dawn and Facet of Hope are a really nice combo. If you're getting melees, which you're getting a lot of, you're getting Radiant, and then when you have an elemental buff, you get class ability cooldowns. I think it's... last time I checked it was 60 on Compendium, but I remember seeing it kind of say that one elemental buff gave you 40 and then 2 or more gave you 60. Not 100% sure actually. Maybe I have to check that at some point. But it's nice anyway. The class ability cooldown helps. You get more Helions, so kind of nice pairing. Facet of Purpose, we make a decent amount of orbs, but it's just Song of Flame, or Restoration because of Purpose. It's such a good elemental keyword that keeps you so healthy. It just seems worth it having it. And we also use Icebreaker a lot, which is the... we've got Solar Siphon on our helmets, and then all the ignitions that it makes as well, they count as being from the weapon, so they're spawn... well, if you get multi-kills, they will count as kind of triggering Siphon. It's just nice. And there's also Reaper on the class item as well, which just helps again. It's only one copy, but it's nice for making an orb every now and then. And yeah, then Facet of Protection, 15% DR. You don't have to run this if you're not playing the build aggressively, but if you are, like what you're seeing here, it's really nice. It keeps you alive in more situations and lets you get away with, you know, stuff that you probably shouldn't sometimes. Especially during Transcendence, you so get away with stuff that you shouldn't. And then it's really... Facet of No, I've just seen it happen, the one that jolts. Dominance. Okay, there we go. That's the last one. Faceted Dominance. This build doesn't actually have any, or at least the guns I'm using. I don't have any overload guns here. I'm solely relying on the Jolt from Storm Grenade, the Suppression from Freezing Singularity, which is your Transcendence, and then also in Heresy as well, any of the lightning strikes that you get from Bolt Charge are also jolting stuff, and quite a lot of the overloads in this gem are standing next to other champs, so it's pretty easy to kind of, say, stun an unstop or stun a barrier, and that jolt then either land on the overload, or the jolt kind of spread or kind of shoot one of its little lightning beams to the overload. So I would say if you're in a GM where it's something like overload, unstop, barrier, overload, and you're getting a lot of them, run an overload gun. It's just, you can kind of get away with it in this GM specifically. Also, this right now is where I was talking about having to use my super. That Minotaur just before was kind of pushing me pretty aggressively, and then also the slowing mine. I honestly reckon I could have got maybe a sub 14 minute run if I was able to use my super straight away once I get into the boss room, but you know, I think this run ends up at 14.5 minutes, I want to say, which isn't bad. I think we spend around 2 minutes something in the boss room, but yeah, this boss also isn't kind of too chunky. He hasn't got a big health bar, so you can kind of go through him pretty quick. It's just the final stand was... I remember it when I was doing this run, it was a bit hairy in the build because I didn't have super, and then I also Penumbral Blasted a wall twice when I really needed to land it, because that would have then meant 2 ignitions with Icebreaker, so I think I get down to a little slither of health on the red, but still got away with them. And now you see this. Yeah, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here. Actually, no, I think I used the Storm Grenade here on the overload. Fairly sure. Anyway, doesn't matter too much. Yeah, you can see Icebreaker doing Icebreaker things, and then... Also, this is Radiant from Faceted Dawn, but it's also Anti-Barrier Sniper. But one thing I found with Icebreaker against barrier champs specifically, doesn't happen with Overload, and it wasn't working with Unstops, but if you shoot Icebreaker at a barrier champ, and they're just stunned, I don't know why, but I think the game kind of clocks that they're a frozen target maybe, and it just will keep on igniting them. You can go and test this if you want. You just find yourself a barrier champ, stun them, and then just shoot Icebreaker, and it's just ignition, ignition, ignition. For whatever reason, I couldn't tell you. It just goes, and I'm not going to complain about it because I think it's cool. But yeah, okay, here we go. Song of Flame moment. We literally cannot be killed for however long this lasts. 10, 15 seconds. And there, you can see. It's like one Song of Flame and the boss is at half health. Just now, need to play careful because no super. And then we also, because we got his health low enough, we get double spawn of Cabal, Vex 2. And yeah, you can see. Just does this little fire thing. Just clear out ads, and then I'll also, I think once this is done, I jump back in with Icebreaker. Once you pick this build up, you'll find, if you've got it, Icebreaker is just one of those guns you won't want to take off. I will use this as... I'll hip fire it so often. Yeah, sometimes I ADS, like I'm here, but he's got a big old crit spot, so kind of worth it. But yeah, okay, there's the first miss Penumbral. Can he do it a second time? Yes, he can. Look at that. Yeah, that was probably the worst time to mess a melee. And there you go. 14.5 minute run. That's still a solo gem with an awesome build. If you can put this together, I would so recommend you do, and then you also get access to the Incinerator Snap one as well. So it's just worth it trying to go after this class item. You can see 160 kills, 42 orbs, so not bad on making orbs. And then song, Phoenix Dive, Penumbral, Storm, Fear the Void, Helion, Hope, Protection, Dominance, Purpose, and Dawn. For your guns, Lost Signal, Icebreaker, Arc LMG, for reasons I said before. There you go. Harmonic and Arc, Momentum Transfer, Focusing Strike, Charged Up, Mag Resistance, and then Utility on the class item for getting that Helion back more. And then just the Arc artifacts are the ones that you really want on your seasonal thing. Anyway, that's about it from me. See you.